There is one thing that wins any woman's heart every single time. And almost no man is doing it. You have tried everything. You dressed better. You went to the gym. You worked on your conversation skills. You read about attraction and watched videos about confidence and tried to apply everything you learned. And some of it helped. But something was still missing. There was still a gap between knowing what to do and actually feeling it work in real time. Between understanding attraction in theory and experiencing it shift in front of you in a real conversation with a real woman. That gap exists because most advice focuses on what you do around women. What you say, how you look, how you carry yourself. But the thing that actually wins a woman's heart completely is not about any of those things. It is about one specific quality that operates underneath all of them. A quality that women feel before you open your mouth, before she knows your name, before a single strategy or technique has had a chance to land. Today, we are going to show you exactly what that quality is, why it works, and how to develop it in a way that changes every single interaction you have with women from this moment forward. Before we get into it, subscribe and drop a like. This channel is built for men who want the real answers that actually change things rather than the generic advice that sounds good but does nothing. And I need to say something honest to you right now. If you have been trying to figure this out for months or years and still feel like something is missing, that ends today. But only if you actually apply what you are about to learn. The Magnetic Masculinity ebook in the description below is going to give you the complete system for applying all of it. Men who have read it describe it as the thing they wish someone had handed them years ago, not because it is complicated, because it is, finally, completely honest. The link is in the description. Scroll down and grab it right now while you are in the right mindset to act on it. Here is the situation most men find themselves in and never fully understand why. They do everything they are supposed to do. They approach. They make conversation. They show genuine interest. They try to be funny, interesting, and engaged. And sometimes it works. But more often than not, something feels slightly off. The connection does not quite develop the way they hoped. She seems mildly interested but never genuinely drawn in. The interaction ends and nothing comes of it. And they walk away wondering what they did wrong. Here is the truth. They did not do anything wrong. They were just missing the one thing that makes everything else work. Most men approach women in a state of internal tension that they are completely unaware of. A subtle but powerful anxiety that is running just beneath the surface of every word they say and every move they make. An invisible energy that communicates one thing to a woman before the first sentence is finished. He needs this to go well. And the moment she feels that need, the moment she senses that her response has the power to make or break his sense of self, the attraction equation changes completely. Because attraction is not triggered by a man who needs her to like him. It is triggered by a man who is so complete in himself that her approval is genuinely secondary to his own experience of the moment. Psychologist Dr. Abraham Maslow, whose hierarchy of needs is one of the most foundational frameworks in all of human psychology, identified self-actualization as the highest level of human development. The state in which a person is so fully realized in their own identity, values, and sense of self that their behavior is driven from within rather than from a need for external validation. Men who operate from this level do not approach women from a place of need. They approach from a place of genuine interest and complete security. And that internal state communicates itself through every micro-expression, every vocal tone, and every moment of eye contact in ways that no technique or strategy can replicate. Neuroscientist Dr. Antonio Damasio, whose research on emotion and social cognition found that human beings make their most powerful social assessments through what he calls somatic markers, physical and emotional signals that the brain reads below the level of conscious thought. In simpler terms, she feels who you are before she thinks about who you are. No script, no line, and no technique can override the signal your internal state is broadcasting, which means the single most powerful thing any man can do to win a woman's heart is not to change what he says. It is to change the state he is in when he says it. The trick is presence. Complete, unshaken, fully grounded presence. And here is exactly how to develop it. Here is the trick, what presence actually is. Presence is not confidence performed for an audience. It is not the loud energy of a man trying to dominate a room. It is not charisma switched on like a light when an attractive woman walks in. Presence is the quiet, internal experience of being fully in the moment you are in. Not thinking about how you are coming across. Not monitoring her reactions for signs of approval or disapproval. Not running a script in your head while pretending to listen. Not half here because the other half of you is already bracing for rejection. The man who is fully present in an interaction gives the woman across from him something she almost never receives from men who are interested in her. The experience of being genuinely seen rather than being evaluated, impressed, or performed at. And being genuinely seen by a man who is completely at ease in himself is one of the most powerful emotional experiences a woman can have in a conversation. Research published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found consistently that individuals who demonstrate full attentive presence during social interactions are rated significantly higher in attractiveness, intelligence, and likability than those who appear distracted, self-monitoring, or outcome-focused. Presence is the trick. And here is how to build it. Step 1. Release the outcome before you approach. The single biggest destroyer of presence is attachment to outcome. The need for the interaction to go a specific way. The hope that she will respond a certain way. The fear that she will not. Before every interaction, make one conscious decision. It does not matter how this goes. I am here because I am interested. I will be fully present for however long this lasts, and whatever happens next is completely fine with me. That decision takes the invisible pressure off the interaction and replaces it with something she will feel instantly. Freedom. The freedom of talking to a man who has nothing to prove and nothing to lose. And freedom in a man is one of the most magnetic things a woman can encounter. Step 2. Listen to understand rather than to respond. Most men in conversations with attractive women are not actually listening. They are waiting. Waiting for a gap in the conversation where they can say the next impressive thing they have prepared in their head. She feels this. Every single time, it feels like being talked at rather than talked with, like being a prop in someone else's performance rather than the actual point of the interaction. The man who listens to genuinely understand what she is saying, who asks follow-up questions driven by real curiosity rather than conversational strategy, who lets her words actually land before he responds, gives her an experience that is so rare among men who are interested in her that it becomes unforgettable. Listen like she is the most interesting person in the room, because right now she is. Step 3. Be comfortable with silence. A man who rushes to fill every silence is a man who is uncomfortable with himself. And a man who is uncomfortable with himself is a man a woman cannot fully relax around. Silence in a conversation is not failure. It is space. Space for something genuine to develop. Space for the moment to breathe. Space that communicates one thing very clearly. I am so comfortable in my own skin that I do not need noise to feel okay. Let the silence exist, hold it calmly, and watch how she responds to a man who is not afraid of the quiet. Step 4. Make her feel like the conversation matters. This is the part of presence that most men overlook completely. Presence is not just about how you feel internally. It is about how she feels as a result of being in your presence. The man who wins a woman's heart is not the man who impresses her. He is the man who makes her feel that talking to him was genuinely worth her time. That she left the conversation feeling more interesting, more seen, and more alive than she did before it started. Ask questions nobody else asks. Remember the small things she mentions and bring them back. React to what she actually says rather than what you expected her to say. Make her feel that you were completely there, that she had all of you, that for however long that conversation lasted, nothing in the world was more important to you than her. That feeling is what wins a woman's heart. Every single time, without exception. Here is the thing about presence that makes it different from every other piece of dating advice you have ever heard. It does not wear off. It does not stop working after a few weeks when she gets used to it. It does not depend on how good you are looking that day, or how sharp your conversation skills are, or whether you said the right thing at the right moment. Presence compounds. The more you practice it, the more natural it becomes? The more natural it becomes, the more deeply it affects every interaction you have. And the more deeply it affects every interaction you have, the more consistently you become the kind of man that women do not just like, but genuinely cannot stop thinking about. This is the trick. Not because it is clever, because it is real. And real, in a world full of performances and strategies and calculated moves, is the rarest and most irresistible thing a man can offer. Be real. Be present. Be completely there. And watch what happens to every relationship in your life, especially the ones you have not had yet. If this landed for you today, like this video and subscribe for more content that gives you the real answers most people are too comfortable to say. And let me be straight with you one more time before you go. Reading about presence is one thing. Actually building it into the way you move through the world is another. The Magnetic Masculinity ebook is going to show you exactly how to do that, step by step, practically, without any of the fluff or the generic advice that has been wasting your time. I put 15 years of studying male psychology, attraction, and human behavior into this guide. You can read it in a few hours. And those few hours are going to do more for your dating life than the last year of figuring it out on your own ever did. Every day you spend without this understanding is another day of missed connections, conversations that almost worked, and women who felt something was slightly off without being able to name it. The link is in the description right now. Scroll down. Grab it today. Because the man who masters presence does not just win women's hearts, he changes every room he walks into. And that man is one decision away from where you are right now.